3, 2, 1. Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Michigan Realtors Government Affairs Videocast, live from Tullamore Resort. I'm Brad Ward.
And I am Brian Western.
And we're here today as special guests of the West Central Association. Welcome, everyone. Once again, proving that we are with a live studio audience, much like your favorite 1980s television show. A couple important things happening over the next few weeks and into the future here, legislatively and also rules-wise. One of the big things that happened last week was Governor Rick Snyder actually signed into law the Good Jobs for Michigan package. As you may recall, the Michigan Realtors was part of a coalition of business and labor interests that was pushing for this Good Jobs for Michigan package. Really an economic incentive for those job providers to invest and create jobs here in Michigan. These things, oftentimes come down to competition between states, and this really puts us on some equal footing. Legislature has done tremendous things along with the governor over the last several years in putting Michigan in a very competitive situation. These are some extra economic incentives that will only be paid out once those jobs are created, and those job thresholds are 250 and 500 jobs under the legislation. So we're looking for some big and great things coming to Michigan, and definitely an opportunity for us to shine here as a state and get some more jobs.
And another area we're really focused on right now in the last actually 6 months, we've been rolling out a lot of communications relative to advertising. Obviously, in Michigan, there was some legislation last year that was passed that touched on advertising. A big part of the advertising communication so far has really been on point to make sure that brokers and salespersons and teams understand the requirements, the minimum requirements that have long been required by law, which is to have in every advertisement the name of the employing broker as licensed and also the phone number or the address of the employing broker. You can have additional information on those signs. You can obviously use different creative styles of branding, but really making sure that our membership and other licensees understand exactly what the minimum standard is, because as you look around, it's become pretty clear that oftentimes many of the advertisements do not feature the minimum standard. Going forward, January 1st, 2018 ushers in a type size standard that all licensees will have to work within. We've been working with the department on identifying examples, coming up with visual illustrations to make sure that it is very easy for membership to comply with this requirement. The requirement will state that the employing broker name has to be in equal or greater type size. So what we're doing right now is working with the department to develop those visual illustrations to discuss exactly what the type size standard will be. We hope to roll those out in the early fall. We're in the process right now with a presidential advisory group that has come up with some very constructive work to make sure that allow branding to be not only creative but also uniform.
Yeah, really this, the enforcement that's beginning at the beginning of next year really puts a finer point on something the department had been struggling with, which was how do we define affirmatively state? Providing a more specific visual example of the 50-50 standard was really what the ultimate goal of that legislation was. So, as Brian mentioned, Presidential Advisory Work Group, making sure that people can still brand, can still have logos and distinctive marketing styles, but doing it within the bounds of the upcoming enforcement standards. So, watch for more communications. Those things have been rolling out since the bill was signed back in December. So. As you move forward, look for more communications from the association and hopefully some visual examples to make sure that you are compliant. With that, I'm Brad Ward.
And I'm Brian Western.
And you guys are the West Central Association of Realtors. We thank you very much for having us here at Tullamore.